Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Monday night, 8 p.m. The Online Darts Live Lounge returns after a week hiatus because of the Grand Slam. Myself, Phill Bars, Jack Darwin and Lee Boyce are here. And gentlemen, I get the feeling there may be some Fergie time today.
What about? Absolutely nothing has happened in the last 2 weeks.
It's quiet week. Nothing to see here?
Or last 24 hours.
No, definitely not.
Monday is now the day of announcements.
I think we will do it, just for us.
If it's worth knowing, let's release
the premium YouTube reaction show. We need to get it out so that these three can chat shit about it for half an hour.
First of all, how are we?
Tired.
Yeah, I know that feeling. 4 hours sleep, a bucket load of caffeine, but we're flying.
I'm all done by 2:30 on Sunday. I finally got my Grand Slam final ticket seat because there's a worry for a long period of that week.
How nervous were you at one point?
I honestly thought it was going to happen. I was sat in a pub in Wolverhampton by like 1 o'clock thinking, I'm out for something I might not be going to right now.
I was always driving to Portsmouth. You were always going, but you would have owned me instead.
The British poll that would have followed afterwards, if I would have been there, would have not been worthwhile.
It would have been funny. But look, plenty going on right now in the world of darts. First of all, we'll get the elephant in the room out of the way. The news obviously broke today about 3 players suspended with allegations of suspicious betting patterns. Our stance will be the same as it was with McKinstry and Wessel Nyman. At the moment, it is just an allegation. So we will not comment on it until either charged and found guilty or proven innocent, whichever way it is. One, obviously, we're not allowed to because there is an ongoing investigation with the DRA, so it wouldn't be fair. But like McKinstry and Nyman, once that has passed, we will talk about it, but just not right now, boys.
Correct. And what is worth reiterating is there's plenty of stuff going around on social media at the minute. Absolutely none of it is confirmed in relation to any specific game apart from the Jack Main one.
Yeah.
And the rest of the product, the rest of the Super Series is still incredibly secure. Like, the future of that tournament is not at risk. A couple of players potentially breaking rules, as they've been found out to be, does not change the fact that the Moda Super Series is actually just a legitimate business, right? That's why the DRA and these things are in process. That's why they're there. And a couple of players chancing their arm or trying to take advantage of a system does not stop that product being a legitimate darts product, no matter what you might think if you've lost 50p on somebody 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But look, we're not ignoring it, but it'll be like McKinstry and Nyman. Once anyone is found guilty or innocent, then we will talk about it. So before anyone says, "Oh, you're ignoring it," we're not. But there's a due process, the same as in legal court cases and things like that. That until something's proven one way or the other, we'll just watch. But then we'll talk about it because let's be fair, we hammered McKinstry and Nyman once found guilty.
Oh, even right now, there's plenty I could sit here and say about it, but we're not allowed. So, yeah, there will be even more when more comes to light.
Yeah, exactly. But look, other than that, it was all good. Leonard Gates produced some magical stuff today for you, Gob. Nice and busy.
Games. He started really slowly, to be fair. His first 2 games, he was well off the pace. And then produced that 98 average, then the 111. Played a really good game against Jim McEwen as well. Back-to-back legs on his own throw. He's gone 180, 180. I was like, holy crap, it's happening again.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And 365 must be shitting themselves right now because they fucked up yesterday. They released early odds for Lakeside. And when they first come out, Leonard Gates was 20-1. Bearing in mind, his seed had just been replaced as well by John Scott. I think he's now 9s. Madness by their traders. But before we get into that, we'll of course jump into the chat room. Morgan, how we doing? Connor is in. Connor, we're going to try and get that sorted out this week. It's just been manic. Malachi, how we doing? Bob is in. James, Ryan, how we doing? Kieran, Graham is in, of course. Rebel County, how we doing? Robbo, Craig, Earps is in. Joe, Ellen is in. James, of course, Peter's in. How are you all doing?
I don't think it's that cut and dry, you know, Pete. There's also a bloody good chance that he rocks up at Q School and gets his card. I was going to say, any of them.
There's no guarantee he's even at the tavern yet. But how are we doing, Sam? Right. Whilst we're on seniors, we might as well go there first. The news that we'd obviously known for a while from the video we released today. It was recorded a while ago, but people wanted to release it at the right time and everything like that. But next year will be Phill the Power Taylor's last year playing competitive darts, boys. Right time?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess he's not had the impact on the seniors that he would like. I think he'd be honest enough to say that. A dud first year in regards to 2 finals, but then his 2 finals a dud year for Phill Taylor. When it's Phill Taylor we talked about, you put him in a different sort of level to everyone else. There's been some moments of brilliance, but not as much as we'd like. So I think it's very much, for me, probably the right time for him to bow out. But he's got 4 events, and it's going to take a brave man to bat against Phill, not getting 2 out at least another final. If he puts in the time and the hours to go out with a bang. But yeah, I guess to the question, I think it's the right time. And it deserves a retirement year as well. I don't think it would have been nice for the public for him to come out now and say, I'm retiring, that's it. Yeah. I think he deserves that sort of year. We haven't got a seniors Premier League, so we don't need to put him in one. We ain't going to worry about that. It's still just the 4 events.
He had that year in the PDC, didn't he? But he is that great, and he's done that much. And actually, there is no seniors tour without Phill at this point. That you're more than happy to see him go through that process again and get the adulation again.
I get that to a point. However, when he did it in the PDC, he was still at the top level competing. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate here. In these 4 tournaments, he crashes out first round of them all. Is that the right swan song?
Well, you better get tickets to the Friday sessions instead of the Saturday or Sunday, then, haven't you?
Yeah, look, quite possibly. But do you see what I mean, though? Look, let's be fair. Right now, when you listen to the unseeded players, Phill is the seed they all want. And I never thought I'd say that. But when you've got them saying, I want Phill, not because I'm playing Phill, because I can beat him.
I guess it goes twofold here as well, doesn't it? Like, he now has an opportunity to go out on a high in a tournament or a tour that he hasn't quite had the impact on. He's been presented with that opportunity to go and do something about it. He keeps telling us he knows what he's doing wrong. He knows what he's got to put right. He doesn't like letting the fans down. Part of that is almost him telling that to himself just to keep himself honest for the last couple of years. For 1 year, basically, this is what I've been saying about Gary Anderson for a couple of years now. If you want to clear off, go and put the effort in for 1 year and never do it again. And that is basically what Phil's been presenting with himself. He's had the operation on his hip or whatever it was. He's had the eye surgery. He could go and get himself a proper practice partner for the next year, put the effort into these events, potentially walk off with a chance of some silverware and go, right, that's it, I am actually done. Or he can flop out first round every event, wave to a few people and basically go on a royal wave.
My worry on that, Phill, is if the only time I think he would consider doing that earlier is if the World Championships, because it's obviously different to the PDC. He's not ending on the World Championships. He's starting on it from a seniors perspective. If that doesn't go well, then there is signs to worry in regards to, has he done the right thing in giving it a year and not just that one tournament to go towards? But he had to, like I says, it would have been a shame if the announcement would have been made and we don't see him again. At least we've got that year for him to put that effort in. And there's only him who can change that. The pressure on the player who's got him in all of these first rounds has heightened even that little bit more.
Yeah, no, look, I agree, and it's an interesting one. Evening, Jack. How are we doing? Laura is in. How are we doing, Maisie? And John, should we play the clip from the great man?
Yes.
Full interview is over on our YouTube channel, but you can't go over until we've finished.
Yeah, because you always think, is this the one? Is this the one what's going to, get my career back on track? Unfortunately, my mind's all right, my body isn't. That's the problem.
Well, on the career, obviously, some news that next year is going to be your last year. One more year at the seniors, and then that's you.
One more year, yeah. I mean, I've loved every minute of it, don't get me wrong. And the two Jasons, Jason Taylor and Jason Francis, again, they aren't just people I work for, they're personal friends, and it's lovely to work with them, and it's great to see. And I really hope the seniors takes off, and you'll get more players coming through as they start retiring. You get Peter Wright soon, and probably Barney a bit later on in his career, and it'll just take off. It'll get bigger and bigger.
When did you make that decision that 24 is going to be the last one for you?
I had to do. And I can focus everything then on one last year and really put some effort in. You know what I mean? And do things properly. I do know what I'm doing wrong. Lockdown didn't do me any favours, but I know exactly what I do wrong, and I know exactly how to put it right. So it's just a matter of doing it now. It's part of good talking about it. You've got to do it.
Do it. 1 year. Go berserk. Go on, Phill. Give us just one tournament, one glimpse, one moment to go, yeah, that's the greatest player of all time, that.
Not sure. I'm not sure it'll happen. But I'd love it to.
I'm not saying I'm sure it'll happen, because if that was the case, he might have done it for the last 18 months or so. But
yeah,
just go on. Don't go through the motions.
You never know, Pete. We may see Peter Wright. We definitely won't see Gary Anderson. I know that much. But we may see Peter one day. Perhaps. But tickets for the seniors are available now. I think all 4 events now on sale.
3.
I've seen the posters for the other one, so it can't be far away.
Yeah, we've not gone on sale yet.
Yeah, I've seen the posters.
The match play went on sale this morning in York. Big news now is that obviously the World Championships remains, the Champion of Champions remains, but the final 2 events here, the match play and the Masters, will now take place on Friday, Saturday, rather than Saturday, Sunday.
I like that as well.
They're announced for.
I like that.
It makes sense. The argument is that the Sunday evening isn't the easiest or the most accessible for people to get to because of public transport and whatever else that comes with it. So you almost sacrifice the first session of the tournament. The Friday afternoon is now expected to be the quieter one. And actually, you hope that your Friday and Saturday evening, your busier sessions in terms of attendance for pretty much anything, because of the time of the week that it is, now gets the crowds that it deserves.
Yeah, the real test for that will be York, because we've done the venue, we've seen it where it's how will it reflect on, and like I says, you'd rather have the hit on the first session than the fourth session, but predominantly finals are on a Sunday night, minus Grand Prix, I'm guessing, for PDC. Other than that, I know this year is different, but they was previously. It'd be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, agreed. The World's draw is a week today. We'll talk about our plans later on, but that was the news that Phill Taylor will only play 1 more year of his illustrious career. Like we said, full interview over on our YouTube channel, so make sure you go and check that one out. Right, boys, from there, as John McDonald said for 9 days, the wonderful city of Wolverhampton.
Said no one else ever.
Grand Slam is in the ledger. Obviously, we'll come on to it more in a minute. But first of all, you two and chat room, your first thoughts of the tournament as a whole.
Personally, I struggled at times with the Grand Slam. However, I thought generally it was a very good tournament. Huge kudos for the people who created the stage, because one of the best stage setups we've seen for a long time. In the venue, been there a couple of sessions, and then weekend, very good atmosphere. Wise being in there, weekday, not so much. But generally, I thought it was a very, very good Grand Slam of darts.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. It had its moments. It had plenty of shocks. It still had an incredibly talented last 8 and last 4 lineup, despite the fact we lost so many of the seeded players. It showed just how open the sport is right now in one regard, but it also showed that Luke Humphries is a different animal right now. He's absolutely on fire. Yeah, as a presentation as a whole, I thought it was okay. There were some things I didn't particularly like. I thought they overdid the flash interviews a little bit throughout the week.
I think that's a more directive.
Yeah, I get that they're trying new things, aren't they? They've tried the box-in box with the comms view and whatever. I like the fact that they are trying to evolve the broadcast. I just felt that they were a little bit overdone. But that's not nitpicking, but it's just one of those things that you pick up on as you're going along that actually just throw to a break and chuck me a promo, because some of the montages I thought the players aren't saying a lot. Yeah, I'm all right. I played all right yesterday. I'm not playing all right. I'll see how I go up there. Chuck me up a montage with a bit of music and get me involved in the game rather than a breeze block corridor with the players saying the same thing over and over again. Because the background of some of them look dreadful. And I think Het summed it up the most. He goes, you've asked this question to absolutely everybody about who you want to play next and who do you think wins the next game that you're playing. He goes, nobody's ever given you a straight answer to that, and nobody ever will.
I disagree. Joe Cullen did in Leicester.
The 1 time out of 100, is it worth asking every single person for it?
Look, overall, in terms of media, where we're based, it's a ball ache to get down to the arena and whatever in terms of logistics for us. But as a tournament, I enjoyed it. The one negative, which we keep saying, sort the freaking games out. I don't want to see the same players playing each other so quickly. That we know that, but I think as a venue overall, Aldersley is now working. I thought ticket sales were decent throughout the whole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Both weekend sessions were incredible.
Not necessarily. I just think that the way that they frame the room, in terms of a layout and size and capacity, it doesn't look too different to the morning side. But the fact that they can darken the back seats when they're not being used is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Like, layout-wise, with the big seating across the back and the tables, don't get me wrong, the Aldersley, I think, holds a few more and was probably a bit busier throughout the week because Wolverhampton has had that association with darts for a fair amount of time now. Leicester is still trying to get that. But actually, the fact that they could dim the lights on the back and you couldn't see the top row of seats, whereas in Leicester, it's so light constantly, you can see every single seat up there, makes a huge difference to the presentation. And people are going, well, I'm not going to buy a ticket to midweek because it looks dead. You can't see that when you're watching on Wolverhampton. And you just end up at the back of the tables or something.
Yeah, no, I get it. How we doing, Mark? Hope you are good. Pete's most important person in the house and a bit of everything. Yeah, no, it was good. Right. Group stages, the standouts, obviously they've all been mentioned in the chat room, but Stowe Bunce, what a week he had ahead of his trip to Ali Pali.
In one of the most difficult groups, in a group where most people had him finishing bottom, maybe getting a 1 win over, but the fact he was through after his 2 games was just incredible, and he just carried that form on. He looked very impressive. Obviously, the Dames that London, he wasn't as good, but this is what the Grand Slam's all about with the group stage. It's someone going in, we're not expecting a huge amount from him, especially in that group, and then to come through as he did, he was one of a few that stood out as being very, very good in the groups. Some who didn't even qualify deserve a mention. I thought Bob and Fallon was very good as well. So it was a very, very good group stage. I thought, like I said, a lot of it was enjoyable. The frustration is when you get into quarterfinals, isn't it? Because the Dames have already seen.
Yeah. Look, you touched on Bo there. It took a ridiculous checkout from Damon Heta to rescue the situation, and it was an absolute rescue job that 164 was against Bo.
He needed it. Let's just put it that way. He definitely
it's done
at that moment.
At that point, if that doesn't go and Bo hits, the game's over.
I guess we'll never know.
It was. You know what? He wasn't playing bad at that stage. Bo was just found a game or was close to a game at that, and just looked like she wasn't going to be stopped. And it took something incredible to do that. I would have loved to have seen. I'd love to have seen Bo at that London format. Getting through like we have done with Fallon, and we've seen that Fallon can still push on. It'd have been interesting to see Bo over a best of 19. Because, like I said, she flew out the blocks in all her games. It'd have been good to see that, but Damon done the job, and that 164 was one of the best checkouts of the week because of the timing of it.
Mental.
That group had most of the drama from the group stage as well, didn't it? Because we had Petrescu's absolute implosion from flavour of the week to most hated man in darts in the space of 3 weeks.
I'm going to say it now, I don't care. His attitude backstage on that last group game was shit.
It wasn't much better on stage from what we could see. And the one thing I've got, and this isn't me going, the Euro Tour, our crowd isn't as bad. Like, he literally won a Euro Tour in Germany in the last 6 weeks. There is absolutely no way at some point he has not benefited from a crowd like that, given how many Euro Tours are in Germany.
100%.
If you cannot stomach it, then you shouldn't have dished it out, is the way it goes. You shouldn't be so enamoured with the crowd that got you over the line in your first title. Don't get me wrong, he was magnificent that week, and he played Peter Wright in the final, who the German crowd are pretty respectful of. But it goes both ways.
100%. He had an absolute catastrophic meltdown.
Yeah.
And I get the impression he's going to get barrels at Ali Pally, but we'll see on that.
Depends who he draws, doesn't it?
But you would think as well that players would have learned, i.e. Derwin Price still gets it from what he did with the Darren Anderson match and prior to that and other occasions, but doing it on one just sticks with people, especially at a venue. If he's back in Wolverhampton then, people are not going to forget how he was on stage. It's just it's very strange for someone like you said who's benefited from it before, being on the other side of it.
This is the time of the year where, without wanting to offend a lot of people, the darts casuals get back on board.
Yeah,
they will have been looking this week. It's that kind of season. There was no football this week. It's been an international break, so there's no Premier League to clash with throughout the week.
I'm not sure he'd be allowed then, Pete. They'd probably get banned for copyright issues. Someone asked, was Bo the biggest 180 in the group stages? I don't know if she finished it, but I know after 2 games, her and Fallon were 1 and 3. Bo had 8, Fallon had 5, I think it was. I didn't see the stats after the final one, but I know she was after 2, certainly.
Yeah.
I think she had 2 or 3 more than Damon, so I'd be surprised. I can't think of anyone else in the group stages who had that run of 4 or 5 in their final game that would have trumped. But
Gezi went berserk. He didn't play enough legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I know she was definitely after 2, but I didn't see the stats after 4. Fallon, again, good from her. One game against Clearmaker, which was good. She got the brunt of a Michael performance and pushed Rob as well. So good signs for her as well, heading towards Ali Pali.
Yeah, so generally just for the women's game, I guess, with Fallon maintaining a certain level when she's on stage. Yes, not then out of the group, but then in a very, very difficult group with Van Derwen and Frost in there. Bo doing what she's done, just showing at the age of 19 the levels that she can reach. And it's just a huge, huge positive for the women's game that Bo and Fallon are doing that. And we've seen previous players do it before. But I thought generally they're the 2 players who come out with a huge amount of credit who didn't qualify just because the manner of performances, where there's other players like Petrescu, like Van Veen probably, who were quite the opposite.
How did Gian go from a dart away to winning his first game to being the first player eliminated? Is the most bizarre story of the week. And he's probably one of the most, when you talk about disappointments from that week, you can chuck Michael Smith in there, you can chuck Gian in there. Johnny and Berry were in a tough little group. Dirk's shoulder injury, but Gian's fall off in that group was staggering.
Yeah, I spoke to him about it. We'll come on to that in a second. However, I'm going to play a quick 17-second video to segue us into something.
Very precise.
Very precise.
And as if by magic, we're joined by the one and only Mr. Josh Rock. How are we doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Back home, all okay?
Yeah, everything's great back home. The wee man's just about to go to bed here, so all good.
Nice. First of all, mate, congratulations. A good tournament for you overall. I'm sure you'll be gutted about the way it ended, but so many positives to take.
Oh, yeah, so many positives to take from it. You know, first quarter final on the big stage. Me and James pushed each other all the way to the end, but maybe it took a wee bit too long, but my heart race was going far too quick, so I had to try and calm myself down to get it obviously down as quick as I could. But there were 2 well-thrown darts. First one was a wee bit too high, but look, it's a learning curve, so on to the next one.
Yeah, look, the whole tournament as a whole, I know we laughed and joked after your first game that you finally won a game on TV this year, and from there to get to the quarterfinals must give you so much confidence with Minehead a few days away and, of course, Ali Pali on the horizon.
Oh, yeah, it's great to have my confidence back on the stage, but I don't like playing at Minehead. I never have, bar playing the World Youth. I'm not a good regular at Minehead, so hopefully I can change it this week. But I think I'll just take it more easy this week and then focus for the Worlds.
To be fair, you're not the only player that doesn't like playing at Minehead, so you're in quite a big club there.
There's not a lot of players.
And as if by magic, Rab has joined us in the chat room. Hope you are good, mate.
The boss.
Yeah, the boss is in. It was good to see him over the week as well. Look, we're not going to bore you with too much darts, mate. But first of all, obviously, it's been a whirlwind for you. You've gone from little Josh Rock over in Northern Ireland to boom in the front of millions of people. So what's it been like over the last 2 years?
It's a big change in my life last 2 years, big time, because I was even out today and I went in the 3 shops and you get noticed by so many people and you're like, it's nice, obviously. So my life's took a big, massive turn. For the better, though, I'm guessing. I'm guessing you're enjoying that now? Oh, yeah, 100% I'm enjoying it because it's one thing I never thought I'd never have in life, obviously being noticed, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's a nice feeling.
It means you've got to do your hair every time you go out, though, doesn't it? You can't just chuck your tracky on again.
No, yeah, sometimes I have to be okay dressed, like obviously, just in case people on photos. But yeah, you're right. Those awkward airport selfies and everything, yeah? I've had quite a few of them, especially if you're just off the plane. You're like, can you not just get in the terminal first? But yeah. Look, you and Boyce have got something in common as well. Your love for Manchester United, away from it. Huge football fan? Oh, huge football fans, Port Manchester United and Glasgow Rangers. So I'm a big football fan. I love my football.
Oh, we know the Rangers from the walk-on, mate. Don't worry.
Oh.
Just out of interest, when you get to Premier League status and things like that, have you thought of your alternative walk-on song because you won't be able to use that in certain cities?
But the song isn't a Rangers song. It's just one they've used and when the stadium's been going on. So there's nothing bad about it, like Sweet Caroline and Penny Arcade and stuff. There's nothing bad about that song. Me and Dave Allen's already had that talk, so we're all fine.
I like that because I just remember poor Mensah getting pouters when Sky messed it up and played by mistake in Aberdeen. Listen, you've never seen anything like it. Obviously, they didn't play it in Glasgow for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, Sky messed up. Mensah stood at the top of the walk-on in Aberdeen. Simply the best hits and genuine. I've never seen Mensah just want to run off in all my life. He big time.
Completely ruined the bloke.
Yeah, he's like this going, what's going on?
Yeah.
If there's one man I fancy to take on though, it would be Mensah, I think, off the circuit. There's not many, a few headbutts.
So, do you get to many games, either Old Trafford or Ibrox?
I've actually never been to Ibrox in my life, but funny enough, the last Pro Tours, I got tickets to Old Trafford against Newcastle. It wasn't a great result, but it was nice to be there again.
Especially with Dobie as well, yeah?
Been a great result for the last 5 years.
I was with Scott Williams, but he's a Newcastle fan. He's in the United end, so it was bad for him. So can't even celebrate.
That's brilliant. So Dobie took Ross Smith. You took Scott Williams.
Scott Williams. Yeah, it wasn't a good day. It wasn't a good night.
Any other sports or anything that you're involved in away from darts?
Oh, when I'm at home, we usually go play snooker quite often with my uncle and my brother-in-law. So I like a bit of snooker myself.
Decent at it.
My highest break's 39, so I'm okay.
He still beat Boise.
A bit of a culture because Joe Cullen loves a bit of a snooker as well, doesn't he?
I actually probably play it more often than I think because even when we're away at Pro Tours and we're out early, we look for a snooker club that's close by to go and play snooker.
You don't want to be telling people that, by the way, Josh. You do know that snooker club. As soon as you're out first round in the next Pro Tour, you do know that snooker club's going to be pretty busy now.
Well, you meant to be in, but when you're out, you're doing nothing else. You just go play snooker.
On the Pro Tours and stuff like that, are you pleased with the move to Monday, Tuesdays, or mainly midweeks?
Oh, it's not. It doesn't bother me. Obviously, because I don't work anymore. Darts is my full time, so I still don't class darts as a job. It's my dream hobby, so took further. So it's not going to bother me midweek. So it's just we like the same. Big time.
I like that. The way it's going and everything, your little stable and practice team that you've got, how much has that helped? Obviously, there's you, Rob, Scott Williams, John O'Shea. I bet the practice sessions are decent. We see some of the pictures that you boys post when you're all together and that.
Oh, there's times it can be really good practice sessions, and there's times it's not so good, but they're more better and whatnot. So, but it's good. The way I look at it is brilliant practice with Rob, because in my eyes, he didn't get a chance in the final against Humphries, but Rob's one of the best finishers in the game. And when me and him's practicing, I know I need to hit everything, even to get a shot.
How much have you learned from Rob in the last year?
I think that's why it's helped me a lot this year, being behind Rob, because Rob's helped me so much mentally, going through all different gears. Not really practice routines, but just consistently playing well.
Is the fact that he's had such an up and down career as well in the PDC quite similar to yourself, really? He shoots saying out of nowhere, does what he does, then he has a bit of a drop off. Now he's climbing back up again. The fact that you're quite similar in such a short space of time, has that helped having somebody that's been there and done that?
Oh, 100%, because he knows he's been up and down. Obviously, I haven't experienced the really downside yet. Unlike him, obviously, when he won the Worlds, he had to play Premier League and all that, and then he just shot down because it was all new to him. So, but he's helped me a lot that way too. And
Josh, back to this weekend. Going into this weekend, obviously, you've not had the best of time on TV this year. What was the mindset going into this week? And then obviously getting 3 wins out of 3 with nothing before. How did that then change?
I think I think it's just because I like the venue. Obviously, because of what I'd done last year, so I think I just got the confidence back when I knew what venue I was going to. So I hit a 9 dart at it, played MVG and played outstanding. Then I think it just all came back in that one tournament. So hopefully it'll continue on to the Birds.
Just skip mine, Ed.
Well, let's get mine in. Let's just get out of the picture first.
Look, no one likes mine. Then let's be fair. Obviously, the World Youth. Obviously, was that a disappointment the way that you didn't, or you're not going to have a chance to defend your title on that stage because of the way it all panned out?
We had 3 weeks off, and obviously the development tour were playing and challenge tour was playing. So obviously, I can't say it was my own fault, but there's not many competitions here in Northern Ireland to go and play, and obviously Rob was doing World Series and all that, so it was even harder to even get somebody to practice with. So I got to the quarters. I didn't even play well the whole way through and played Jan, and I was either between him and Luke who wins it. So hopefully it's Jan because it means I got beat by the winner. So I'll be happy enough.
You touched on there. What's the dart scene like in Northern Ireland? Obviously away from the professional rank.
To be honest, Phill, there's not a big lot here in Northern Ireland at all. It's kind of fell away since COVID, big time. There's just the odd competition here and there that I see up on Facebook and all that, and obviously I'm away playing PDC and stuff, but there's not a big lot.
Does it make
which is sad to see. Sorry?
Does it make you consider a move to perhaps base yourself in the UK where the ADC is obviously picking up massively? You can go and play in vaults and that sort of stuff, or county systems that little bit stronger, or there's just that little bit more going on, plus you're closer to the Pro Tour events, or are you set up where you are?
No, I'm happy where I am because me and the missus was just bought this new house, so we're happy where we are. I don't think I can move because I don't think I would like to move away from home, personally.
No, I like that, and you kind of answered the question there that we're quite lucky in England, and because we've got a fantastic county system. Well, not fantastic, but we've got Super League system, ADC, Vault, so there's always something for guys to keep their arm in.
Yeah, 100%. But now that I've actually started practicing again, that's when the darts have started coming back. So I've actually stopped being lazy and I've actually picked up the darts and now I'm practicing every day when I'm home.
Is that kind of a difficult thing to grasp? Because we've spoken to other players that have turned pro and left their jobs and find it hard to motivate themselves to practice on their own. Is that something that you struggle with?
It did before, whenever me and I lived with the missus's mum at the time when we were living there, and then obviously we bought this house. As soon as we bought the house, it's been changed because I can actually just practice in the living room because that's where the board is. I've got the TV on the wall, it's great. So watch TV and practice, it's perfect.
I like that. Got a couple of questions for you coming in as well, mate. What's your realistic ambition for the next 12 months?
Well, I really want to try and get into the top 16 in the world. That was what my biggest push between the next 12 months is. Obviously, there's not really. Obviously, me and this year was actually trying to win a European tour. Obviously, I got to a final, but then that obviously didn't happen. So my next is the top 16, and obviously, if I win a major, that's a bonus.
On that top 16, we obviously know there's a lot of doors that open. This time last year, obviously everyone was saying that you had an outside shot at the Premier League. I know Barry was in your corner as well, giving you so much encouragement. Did you ever believe that it was a realistic thing, or was that more of a hope this time last year?
It was probably a hope. I would have to have won, probably got to the final of the Worlds even to see the Premier League. I wasn't even thinking about it. It was quite funny comments, people saying they should have got Premier League, but look, I had what the year I had, and personally I think I played a lot better. The higher averages aren't there, but the consistency's a lot there. We're getting finals and stuff, so I think I've had a better year this year than I did last year.
I would have loved to have seen the conversation between you and Rob Frost if your name would have been in the Premier League this year when Rob wasn't.
He didn't want to be there. We all know
it. He did want to be there.
He wouldn't even care. Well, I think Rob's getting Premier League now, so
yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think they turn it down.
On the Premier League, obviously, if you were to get to win Minehead or get to a world final, do you think you're ready for it now?
I don't know if I can say I'm ready or not ready. I mean, a different experience, obviously, probably being only home one day a week, but I wouldn't mind it because I would love to play in front of the Belfast crowd, definitely.
100%. Belfast, absolutely rocking.
I think it would rock if I was playing on it, to be honest. So, but obviously I want to get Premier League, I want to play Premier League one day, so just to experience it all. If I only have the one shot or have 10 shots at it, like obviously like Van Gogh and all that, so well, you never know what the future holds.
Go on, Boise.
No, I was just going to say, you mentioned there the rankings and you wanted to enter that top 16. How important is it for you to be number one for your country and then representing your country potentially to World Cup next year?
Oh, it was great because I've been doing it all next year anyway. Number one for Northern Ireland now. It was a bit for a couple of months. It was obviously I was at the bottom, then it was Brendan, then it was Daryl, then it was Daryl or Brendan, Daryl, me. I was always at the bottom, and then obviously I got the consistency back again and I pushed myself all the way to number one again for the first time. So it was great.
Captain Rock for the World Cup.
There's not a bad ring to that actually. Kept winding Daryl up. He said, I was like, you know I'm ahead in the rankings and all that. He says, not for long. And I said, we'll see. Obviously, our banter between each other, and then obviously I went further, so it was great.
Got one from Joe. Says, who's your favourite player of all time, and have you got a current favourite on tour now as well?
Obviously, my favourite player of all time, everybody knows, was Gary Anderson, because everything he does is exactly I do. Throw fast, you get your darts as quick as you can, stand behind the man to play darts again. So, but if I had to say my favourite player, it would be Rob Cross and Scott Williams, definitely, because they helped me a lot. I would say John O'Shea, but hopefully,
John O'Shea's going to kick you already.
Hopefully he keeps his third card if he gets to the World Championship and all, but he'll get it back at Q-Skull, I hope.
Yeah, no, I like that. Andy says, without the players in your management stable, who are you close to on tour?
Nathan Rafferty.
Yeah,
I'm very good friends with Nathan Rafferty, and obviously I'm pretty close with Tal Gurney as well, but I would say I would be more friendly with Nathan Rafferty.
Yeah, no, I like that. He's a good lad as well.
I think it's just because obviously we're close in age and all that, so
yeah.
I think that's probably it.
On the Premier League, Rab's saying yes in the chat room. He's
I'm
in.
ready for it.
Yeah. You're on.
He's the boss knows I'm ready for it.
Your gaffer saying yes.
Well, if he says yes, that's a good thing.
Before we let you go, Ali Pally, 4 weeks away, whatever it is. What's the prep like after Minehead for you, obviously, because there are no tournaments? Is it spend some time in England practicing with the boys?
Yep, I think that's what we're planning on. I'm going to come over for maybe a week. Me, Rob, Scott, obviously, hopefully John, if he's in it. We'll get Ali Pally prep done, but I'll be coming over to England for, I would say, a week to practice. Definitely.
And if all goes well at Ali Pally, how does your travel schedule look? Do you go home, or are you bringing your family to England and staying in England as long as you're in?
Well, obviously, depending on way. Because obviously, we're only playing once before Christmas, because thankfully this year I'm a side, so I'll be playing once and I'll be going straight home. And then if I'm still in, touch wood, hopefully that I'll be flying out on Boxing Day, and then obviously we'll see what happens from then. Yeah, it's just nice to see how, because different people approach it in different ways. Oh yeah, I understand that. It's difficult because obviously you want to concentrate. It's a bit crap that obviously it's Christmas at the same time you want to spend time with your kids and all that. Obviously, it's sacrifices you take, but I'll be coming home because it's only a 40-minute flight, so it's easy enough. Does little one watch the TV and see you on there yet? He has started to a lot more now, which is good, because when I'm away, she sends me videos after I play, so obviously, because she thinks she'll distract me if she sends me stuff, which is respectful, so she sends me a lot of stuff after I play. That's great to see. Josh, absolute pleasure to have you on the Live Lounge, mate. Thank you very, very much, as always. Not a problem. Thank you very much for having me. And we'll see you in Minehead. Remember, you can do it in Minehead. It's not that cold. You can do it. No, it's not about the cold. I just can't play on it for some reason. I'll obviously give it 110% every time. Mate, absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. And I shall see you Thursday or Friday. No, I'll do. See you Thursday or Friday. Thank you very much, boys. Pleasure, mate. Cheers, dude. Good night. Ta-ra. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling.
I'll tell you what, I love that.
Yes. Can we point out the fact that you played a 17-second clip that was very precise, that wasn't even an advert for any of our sponsors? You've played our clip.
What's your point?
Play the game, man.
It was just the one that was in front of us. Yeah, that'll do. 17 seconds. But no, massive thank you to Josh for coming on. And I just like that mindset that he's got now. Come across really, really well.
Yeah, and he's got the results. This is where the Grand Slam can be a huge help to someone. If he was down into Minehead or the Worlds without them wins on his back, just getting through the group stage in the manner he does, that can be a season changer for Josh on TV, and we know what he can do. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches or how he plays in Minehead and then taking that into the Worlds.
Yeah, see, look, Peter knows. Always good to have Peter in. He knows.
I think I did enough of that last week where I was telling Boyce I was going to rob his tickets.
Right, yeah, so we'll go back to the Grand Slam. Gary Anderson, you laughed at me when I said he was back.
No, I didn't.
He's not?
I didn't laugh at you. I said, I want to see him do it on TV. I'm more than happy watching him do it on the floor, but he needs to go and produce. And there's a big difference, and it's a bit like Phill Taylor, the conversation earlier. We hold Gary being back to a higher standard because he has been and was so elite that for Gary to be back, he has to win 3 TV titles a year.
He's back.
Phill, we can't. He got to a quarterfinal of the Grand Slam. I'm not saying he's back at all.
It was glorious to watch, by the way, the entire time.
100%.
I think he's talked himself out of that quarterfinal, by the way. He did a pre-record where he said it's going to be a bit of an issue, and I'm getting on a bit now, to play first to 16 after a semi-final on the Sunday back-to-back, if he gets that far. And then I think he's walked off and someone's gone, Gary, you do realise it's first to 16 in the match you're literally about to play. Yeah. And you can just see the moment where he's played like 21 legs in the game and he's like, oh, it's a bloody long way this in his head. And it just ticks over a little bit.
Look, the performance to beat Gezi, that had been the only thing that had been missing, was beating one of the big boys on TV in that manner.
I agree. That was
the only thing that had been missing, and that one's ticked off.
It's not the only thing that's missing.
Yeah,
he's got to that to the back end of the tournament.
Quarterfinal is the back end. Everyone's saying that Chizzy's been superb. He's had one of the best years ever. Gary's had a better year overall.
There's two ways to look at this. Is Gary Anderson back to the level that we know and love Gary Anderson to have been 5 years ago? No. Is Gary Anderson firmly in the conversation of a contender moving forward for TV events? Yes. And that's a happy medium. Because right now he is a contender. The way you played at the weekend, the fact that you played like that over the distance, the fact the upcoming events, the Players' Championship finals don't play anywhere near that length of format, and the World Championships is set play, so he can afford to have the odd game off or the odd little break and take a breather and come back out and play badly for a set, but recover when he comes back out after that, is a massive, massive bonus to Gary.
And that's also a very, very good point by Morden in the chat room. Because we are talking about the manner of some of Gary Anderson's performances, and it frustrates me to say it because I can see Dobbs' smug face already about it, but James Wade has done further than Gary, and we don't tend to mention him in the same sort of light because the performances are slightly different in the manner on stage. But
yeah, because there's a difference right now. Despite all of it,
that's why I'm saying
James Wade is playing that well, and yet he was a European finalist and a Grand Slam semi-finalist.
But that's why I'm saying that Gary's very close to being back, but I can't say until he's got to say a final. But if you beat Desi and Luke in the forming, then maybe the semi-final would have done that. But
he's a contender.
There's still more to come, Phill. I'm saying it in a positive way than a.
Well, there's still more to come, but everyone knows I've been on this since February time.
He is a contender moving forward. He has to be, not only because he's playing well right now, but actually there is a severe drop-off in a lot of other players that have been contenders for a long time. Michael Van Gerwen is not the unflappable Michael Van Gerwen that we've seen in the past. Michael Smith looks to be in a little bit of trouble right now.
I agree.
Not understate that. Peter Wright is very hit and miss. He won the European Championships, fair enough. But up until that point this year, he'd been dreadful, and then he failed to get out of his group at the Grand Slam. You're then looking at the likes of Aspinall, who hasn't played a lot of darts. Don't get me wrong, that game against Rob Cross was a far better performance from Nathan Aspinall than I predicted, Dan predicted on the fallout bar, and anybody else that had watched the moments since the match play and his group performance. It was a lot better than we expected, especially for a player that has failed to get through Pro Tours to put himself in the Players' Championship finals. But he does now have a big break before he picks up his darts again. Johnny Clayton struggled for form since the loss of his father. Dirk van Dijvenbode's shoulder is now suddenly in bits. Dave Chisnell's record on TV is dreadful. And when you put all of that together, Joe Cullen's not had the season that he's had in the last couple of years. Chris Dobie's playing okay, but needs to do more. James Wade is back contending without playing well. Gary Anderson suddenly becomes a contender. But if four of those suddenly hit form again right now, does he remain a serious contender for a title? Possibly not.
But he's still also worried that he's already considering the length of a first to 16 when you're about to approach the World Championships. That can be even more a lot more leads than that. Early stages, not so much. And I know you don't have the double on the same day. But you still are once you're in the quarterfinal sort of stage, the very, very long formats, very, very quick turnaround, really.
I don't think it was a physical issue with Gary. I think it was a little bit of a mental block where he'd said, it's been a while, I'm not sure how it's going to hold up over that long. It actually held up pretty well. He fell asleep for a couple of legs, but was still picking off some big finishes amongst that. And actually, the level that Luke produced in response was ridiculously good over that length of match. The only time Luke didn't produce a level that ridiculously good was a semi-final, and we all saw how that played out. But he's got the chance to fall asleep and have those moments now. And the next time he really plays a long-duration match play game would be the match play. A match beyond the realms of a massive step up to what he's playing on a Pro Tour. Like even races to 10, don't get me wrong, they are longer than a race to 6, but actually the step up isn't considered that great for a player that's played as long as Gary is. A step up from a best of 11 to a best of 31 with one stop in the middle out of nowhere is a big step. But actually now he's played that and he knows he can live with Luke for 95% of that match over that length of game. It'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I agree. James Wade getting to the semi-final, and at times he was prime wading, but that's what James Wade does. Yeah. James Wade is never going to be this huge scorer. It was, you give him anything from 130 down, he's going to get a dart.
Yeah, I guess the surprise of that was that semi-final, because there was so many opportunities where throughout the whole week, any opportunity he seemed to take, his checkout percentage when it mattered was ridiculous up until that Sunday afternoon. And it just fell apart in a game where, if you'd have took a few of them early on, we could have seen a very, very different outcome. Because we know how good James Wade is once he's in front.
Oh, look, in the semi-final, he should have been 7-3 up at the second break.
At least.
And it would have taken probably Luke Humphries to perform like he did in the final to then pull that back, as we know how good James Wade is on throw when he's got a lead.
Yeah.
When Luke's like, 2 from 10 on tops or whatever he was. The fact you're not out of sight at that point, or at least putting the sword to Luke, was always going to be an issue for James at that point, because he could not go the entire length of that match, a player of that quality, without starting to find doubles.
Yeah, he was always going to find it at some point. Before we go on to obviously the semi-finals and finals in depth, it was your most disappointing at the Grand Slam in terms of the high-profile names?
World champion's got to be in that conversation.
Well, for me, world number 1 and 3.
Yeah. But out in the group, Michael Smith. Don't get me wrong, in a group with James Wade and Christoph Ratajski, who are both incredibly steady darters, but neither of them really has that ridiculous ceiling A+ game that should be able to frighten Michael Smith when he turns on the afterburners. And his record in the group stages of the Grand Slam for the last 10 years or so has been one of, you can't beat me. He doesn't lose in the group stage. It's not what Michael Smith does. And don't get me wrong, he has only lost one game in the group stage and managed to fall foul of leg difference. But it's still a group that actually we looked at and went, well, Smith should be through, and which one of Wade and Ratajski comes through is probably a shootout. And that just hasn't happened. And it's been a tough year results-wise for the world number one and world champion.
Yeah, it's more Michael Smith than Peter Wright, because we know the inconsistencies of Peter Wright this year. So the element of surprise probably wasn't there. And in a difficult group, which some people had predicted that Wright wouldn't make it through anyway. I don't think that anyone predicted that Michael Smith wouldn't make it through from the big names. I guess the other name of disappointment from me, and I mentioned him earlier, was Van Veen, just because the expectation that he set this year to then go 4-0 up in that first game and it just fall apart. The rest was just not, I guess, what we was expecting. But it's time for him to get ready for what's going to be a huge game on Sunday.
Well, he's got Players' Championships before that.
Yeah. But the build up to the World Youth Championship, I guess, everyone was thinking that Van Veen this weekend would be good for him in lead up to that. I'm not quite sure it has been. I think Luke's sitting at home thinking, I'm glad he's had that weekend.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Across the tournament, the best two players made the final. I thought both Rob and Luke were sensational at times.
Hard to disagree. We've been not big on Rob Cross, but the form has been there. Two World Series titles earlier in the year. We made a couple of comments earlier a couple of weeks ago that maybe be in contention on Muswell Hill in a few weeks' time, and that the fact remains that Rob Cross is one of the few players in World Darts that can go and lift titles with his B game. And that B game right now is very, very good, and that A game is even better. And it might not look the most flashy up on stage. It might not be the free-flowing brilliance that Luke Humphries can produce or Van Gerwen or Smith produce when they're up and running. But right now, the consistency level of Rob Cross through this entire year has been superb.
Well, in that final, he 7-3 down, average 106. Yeah.
He's the first player, one of only two finals to not get past the halfway while averaging over 103.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. Honestly, I don't think that much he did wrong. The 170 was magical, but the performances from Rob throughout the week, and then he peaked in the final and still didn't even just got to halfway. Was ridiculous. But then only a good sign for Rob Cross down into the back end of the year.
Yeah, look, we'll play a couple of clips from their interviews because they both said good things. We'll do the winner first.
Yeah, I mean, the Leicester one will never be beaten unless it's a world title, because, of course, when you win your first, it's always the most special. You know, the way I did it, the way it started, the way I finished it, it was the dream. You know, it could never have been any better, that first one. Not saying that my second one isn't any just as good, but the first one always means the most, and then obviously the second one. I mean, this is a really, really tough one to win. You know, I think the five toughest ones in my opinion in the calendar is the Worlds, the Premier League, the Match Play, the Grand Prix and the Grand Slam. They're the most grueling, they're the hardest ones to win. So to win two of them five is something I never imagined to do in a calendar year. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm a much more accomplished player than I am. You know, obviously, just because I've won the two majors out of the last two or three, it doesn't mean I'm just going to go to the Worlds and win that with ease. It's going to be even tougher. It's going to be harder. It's going to be more pressure. But we'll have to see what happens there. I just feel like what I've done this year has exceeded all expectations. But there's that little thing in my mind that thinks you can do two things at once, being world champion and world number one. So of course when I walk onto that stage, I'm going to be giving it full focus to win the world title.
You may not be aware, but you have gone favourite to win that world championship now.
Really? Wow.
What does that say to you?
Well, that's obviously really nice from them, but I don't think I'm favourite. Of course, I'm just Luke. I just think of myself as a decent-ish player sometimes, and I can nick a trophy here and there. But that's nice from whoever's done that. But I still think there's a lot of players in front of me that's got a lot more experience, a lot more pedigree, and have won a lot more than I have. There's 3 players in front of me in the world rankings that I don't need to name names. Them 3 have got a bigger pedigree than me and won a lot more than I have. So, but yeah, regardless of favourites or not favourites, I think it's going to be a great World Championships. But I've got next week to worry about. Yeah, I'm still another major to go before I'm even thinking about the Worlds.
After the quarter-final, you said you may be the best player in the world right now. Are you now the best player in the world right now too?
Maybe
mate?
the best player in the world today. Best player in the world today. Yeah.
How did he still find a way to mention the fucking Premier League?
First of all, the look on his face when we told him he was favourite for the world was something.
He already knew.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Because he went favourite after the second session.
He's a very good actor if he knew before then. So I don't think he knew.
Yeah. But the fact that Gezi and Michael are not favourites for a tournament says a lot.
Someone just on back-to-back in regards to Grand Prix, Grand Slam. Is there an element of, is there a surprise? The question with Luke has always been about, similar to what it was with Michael, he's done and win it on TV, and then what can you do afterwards? Both Michael Smith done it a few months after, Luke's done it a month after. Them question marks are done. It's right now, is there a negative part to Luke's game? And I can't see any at all, which makes it a very, very difficult tool. The one thing, as he mentioned, is there's a lot of quality in the field and there's a lot of experience in the field that have got over that line at a World Championship, which will be a different feel. But he's the man to get at now. He's 100% right now the man to get at.
He is. And I think there's 2 more ways to look at this. I hopped on, Matt Edgar was live streaming last night, I watched along, and we were talking about Luke, and actually he's still getting better. He is not the finished art. He's not the finished Luke Humphries right now, and that must be a worry for those looking at it. Obviously, the price is a reflection of the fact that Gerwyn Price has not held a major title for 14 months, and Michael van Gerwen is so inconsistent right now. Michael Smith struggling for form. We've mentioned all those players, but there is also an opportunity here that it might be beneficial for Luke to bomb out of the first round of the Players' Championships. And as daft as that seems, if he goes to Ali Pali having won 3 of the last 4, there's a different weight of expectation on him than if he's won 2 of the last 4, but has also been made to look human in the European Championships and the Players' Championship finals. And it just keeps him that little bit more leveled out heading into the big one.
I'm not sure that's the mindset of him at the moment, and watching him up close yesterday and how he's done and won the 2 titles. It's not someone who's just got over the line. He's demolished someone with a 103 average in the final. He'd done a pretty decent job on Price in the other one. Whatever happens this weekend, I can't see how he's not down in his favourite, unless the only way that changes, isn't from Luke Humphries. The only way that changes for me is if Michael van Gerwen goes on a rampage this weekend, or Gerwyn Price goes on a rampage this weekend and as a tournament average over 100, then the butties may change. But I don't think Luke can only maintain where he's himself by going and winning it. I think it's to do with Gerwyn and Michael, the only ones who can change that with a fantastic weekend there.
I'd still send him in as favourite, even if he bombs out the first round of Players' Championship. But for
if one of them go and do ridiculous stuff this weekend.
Yeah, I still back him because they've been so inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, yes, they have been there and done it, but right now Luke is a far better player. But for his own benefit, not winning the Players' Championship finals, as daft as that seems, not winning a title, I just think winning 3 of the last 4, you get very caught up. You walk into Ali Pali, floating on air, and it can just get wiped out from underneath you.
It's interesting. How are we doing, Matador? Hope you are good. Yeah, the XL Luke Humphries stems. I'm not
Never.
javelins.
Never.
Right. I'm going to play the clip from Rob Cross because he said some very good things afterwards as well.
I lost to the better man. No doubt about that. Luke was the better man on the night, and mostly sort of, I get on with Luke. You know, there's no bad blood there or anything. He's a good boy and he deserves that, and he played great. You know.
When you stood at the back of the stage, you're averaging 106 and can't get near him. What's that feeling like at times?
Do you know, I sort of, probably my catalyst. I lost a little bit of concentration. I think I went 180 and I missed 3 at tops. That was the only thing sort of early, what I sort of done wrong, which maybe, and I switched off for a little bit, you know. I wanted to go around the 15, 16, but he was just too good, you know. So, yeah, if I wanted to be crucial and a bit judgmental, that would be the only thing for me. But look, best man won. I don't think there's anyone out there really what can argue with it. Pricey, I think big numbers this week. Look, you could argue with that he's just bumped into one. But at the same time, nah. He's probably been one of the best players for the last couple of years. And credit to him. Yeah. Credit.
So, off of that, is there a doubt that Luke Humphries is the best player on Planet Darts right now?
No. I don't think there was. There's nobody sticking their hand up for me. The only other name that keeps getting chucked up in contention is Gerwyn Price, and the issue I have with Gerwyn Price is that he keeps finding a way to not win trophies.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, some of the performances Gerwyn Price is putting in have been fabulous. 2 of the group stage performances were ridiculous from him. And if he clicks, his A game, Gerwyn Price's A game might very well be the best on the planet right now. But he's not producing it often enough in the critical moments enough. And when he's not producing it, he's open to losses. The best player in the world cannot not have a title to his name, for me.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that Luke is the best player. I don't necessarily agree that...
When it's a split between both of those at the minute...
Oh, you know, right now, 100%. I'm not arguing that Luke isn't, but...
I'm not saying in every single conversation we're ever going to have, if somebody doesn't have a title, they can't be the best in the world. They can be the most informed player. But if you give me a choice between those two right now, I'm picking the guy that's won 2 of the last 3 titles on TV.
Oh, yeah, I'm not arguing that he is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. So, heading towards Alexandra Palace, who are we worried about right now? Because there are a lot of players at the moment not playing particularly well.
Well, I've looked at, and it will change this weekend, but the projected World Championship draw and the seedings look absolutely terrible for Barney, because he would be in a quarter where we'd play Luke Humphries. He then's got Joe Tullen, Stephen Bunting, Gerwyn Price, Gary Anderson and Damon Etta all in the same quarter. That is ridiculous for someone where we've seen what Barney's doing on TV. So obviously, things can change this weekend. There's a lot of money on the line, but that quarter at the moment looks ridiculous.
I hope things do change, because you've literally just named the 4, maybe 5 most informed players in the world, and they're all in the same part of the draw.
Would Damon's 12 and would have Dando, who's 21.
Yeah.
Gerwyn Price and Dolan, they would then meet.
Brendan Dolan in that conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, and then Luke Humphries has got Barney, and the winner plays Joe Tullen and Stephen Bunting. Yeah, Joe's not playing as well.
Stephen Bunting
right now. Stephen Bunton is, but Joe Cullen's also had two quarterfinals this year, semi-finals. That's who I feel sorry for there is Brendan and Barney.
Yeah.
Just because of that section, but that can change. There's other people where there's worries. There's got to be huge worries around Dirt. He's going to play through the pain because of the prize money that's there.
I genuinely think you've just named the 5 most informed players in the world right now, and they're all in the same part of the draw for the Worlds. That's mad.
I'll tell you what, right now, looking at that projected World Championship draw, if you're MVG, you are laughing your head off because you've got a right opportunity to play yourself into some form.
Yeah.
It's got all day.
That's what I mean.
All day.
Sometimes
what that is, by the way.
Sometimes you look at the seeds and it's easy to just go to the top 2, but I can't see any other outcome right there than MVG and Noppy meeting. And there's obviously going to be shots on that along the way, and we'll predict the Worlds more when the draw's done. But
yeah, just in terms of the seeding draw,
that's a joke.
That honestly, you want to be in that bottom half of the draw.
You do, considering Dave Chisnall's record on TV, the fact Nathan Aspinall's a bit hit and miss. Wadey's record at Ali Pally sucks. Any snake bite could turn up. Dirk's injured. Danny's taking the players off for the imminent arrival of his newborn child. We have no idea what effect that's going to have on him in 4 weeks' time. Dimitri. Forgot the last time I was impressed with a Dimitri performance.
It's mad, isn't it?
Gilding's in there on the opposite half. Don't get me wrong, the opposite half is probably tougher at that point. Gilding, Schindler, Ryan Searle, Gurney, Rock. Your higher seeds are probably tougher in that half of the draw.
Yeah.
The top half, you've got Gary, Bunting, maybe Ratajski and Dobie, but Razma, Jose, the way Barney's playing at the minute, Dolan's experience, but they're all games you're targeting as a top-seeded player to go, yeah, I'll have one of them.
Yeah.
On dartsrankings.com, our favourite website in the world, if you go to the World Championship race, there's a little blue tab just before the rankings where it says Show Provisional World Championship Draw. It's above the table, last thing in the text.
Yeah.
I'm certainly going to save the projected draw right now and see how much it changes by next Monday. Because that one quarter is horrible, and one big result, as we know, with the seedings can change quite a lot. Someone coming from nowhere to drop everyone down. If Luke goes on and lifts the title and Peter doesn't do, Peter's not there, is he? If Luke goes on and lifts it, then Luke will jump, and then he's in a lot better section.
Yeah.
Can Luke overtake Peter?
Yes, if he wins it.
Cool.
He'd only be 4.7k behind MVG.
So 1 and 2 are set. Michael and Michael cannot change places. Cannot move from 1 and 2.
Anything in green can't change. So 1, 2, 5, and 6 cannot be caught.
Yeah. Interesting. Right. Premier League. Just hold your horses. Are we in agreement that there is only one place up for grabs now? Are all the rest shooting for one spot at the moment?
Yes. Cross was already one that was shading one of those last two.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's in there. The Euro Tours. He was already, if I had to pick my 8 for the last 6 weeks, Rob Cross has been in that 8. But it wasn't got nailed on. And if somebody else goes and wins, if Adobe had won the Grand Slam and a Cullen had won the Players, then there was a chance Rob misses out. I don't think he misses out now.
No, I'm with you. So we're going Smith, Van Gerwen, Humphries, Aspinall, as your top 4. Then 3 that we think will get invites: Price, Wright, Cross. 1 left.
They're the 7, unless something ridiculous happens in these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not 2 weeks, 2 months. Sorry. Players in the world, unless something. We have 2 sort of out of nowhere, not out of nowhere finalists, but 2 who are not in that 7 finalists. Or we have a Players' Championship winner who is a fashionable winner, shall we say. Then that can change. Trying to think of the right terminology to use there. Fashionable is probably the right one to start with. Someone who's sat nicely positioned in the rankings, but not in that 7, goes on and wins the Players, then it probably change. It could change.
Anderson will decline 100%. How are we doing, AB? Hope you are good. Evening, Rob. Right. Players' Championship finals. News broke this evening that Danny Noppet, the number 9 seed, will not go to Minehead due to the, as Gob said earlier, the impending birth of his 2nd child. Dylan Sledden gets the luck of the draw, shall we say. I did make something. 2 seconds. There we are. So
there are worse places to drop into the draw as well, by the way.
There we have the draw. First of all, I understand that not everyone can play on the main stage. However, there are a few questionables on stage 2.
I get that you've still got to put an experience out there as well, but I also think that some of that needs to be rotated. From recent memory, Johnny Clayton is always the stage 2 guy.
Yeah.
That needs changing up a bit for me. He has been the stage 2 guy for a long time. Even when he's been winning majors, he can walk into Minehead as a defending champion or something. They go, "Yep, you're on stage 2, Johnny."
But is that a downside to Johnny being a nice guy?
He ain't going to kick off.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Oh, he did at the UK Open.
Yeah, I want to see it again. You tell him, Johnny.
But that's the draw. That's where people are playing.
Yes.
Round 1.
The order of play, but yeah.
Who's in danger?
Darts. Darts is in danger. Where's Van Gerwen? He plays 2nd to last on the main stage in the evening session. He takes on Callan Ridds. He's seeded 40 for the event, so he's on the right-hand side, not the left. Who's in danger? Mickey Mansell is in a world of trouble. The bullet will shoot him. No.
Are you actually looking at the screen, or can I take this off for a minute?
I'm looking at the PDC because it's in draw bracket order as well.
I was just double checking. I didn't want to take it off when you were looking at it. So let's bring us back for a minute.
Yeah.
How are we doing, Anthony? Hope you are good, mate. Good to have you in. Great having some chat with you over the weekend.
Do you know what? I'm struggling to pick a big name in a world of trouble. Even those that are struggling, famous last words, but even in the form he's in right now, Michael Smith should beat Richard Vainster.
Yeah, I looked at that. I looked at that Michael one though. Talent, especially over the short format.
Over the short format, I think Heta maybe. Jules Van Dongen has played some exceptional stuff in the last 3 months.
So has Heta.
I agree, he has. But over that short format, I think that's a potential upset. I agree, Heta has played some good stuff. But out of the lower seeds, Van Dongen is one that...
I think the Minehead crowd are in trouble when Ricardo Petrescu plays Christian Kist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a couple of
being backed up on letting that on stage 2.
I look at it. Dirk's shoulder is in absolute bits, and he plays Watamina, who doesn't play well on TV. That could be an absolute stinker.
That's on stage 2 as well.
Yeah, for a reason. There's no. Yeah. Let's be fair. They weren't putting that on the main stage.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying these players are definitely not going to lose, but if you're Johnny Clayton, you look up, there are worse draws than Stephen Burton at this point.
If you're Michael Smith, we talked about the Veenstra draw, but then that's the winner of that Watamina Dirt Dame.
Yeah.
If there's a time to or an opportunity to play yourself into form, you're looking at that draw and you think, well, even that little section at the bottom, Joe Cullen in the 3rd round.
Well, another one. Joe Cullen's Minehead record is horrific.
Yeah, but do I back Jamie Hughes to do a job on him? Not particularly. That's like everybody that's struggling or has a bad record there, without being disrespectful to anybody else, has come out okay here. Despite the fact the seedings are absolutely all over the gaff, you're not looking at it going, oh, bloody hell, we didn't want him. With any of them, really. Heta is possibly the only one where you're going, actually, if you could handpick, you probably wouldn't pick to play Jules right now.
No, I agree. It's interesting. How are we doing, Joel? Hope you are good. So we've got the projected draw. I would like your semi-finalists chat room as well. Who are you going to get through the quarters? Are you doing something stupid again?
Never. It definitely wasn't stupid, was it? Because it outlasted both of your predictions.
By the way, Dob, I don't have a ticket to the Glasgow Midland Finals. So there's no offer.
No deal on this one, yeah?
No deal on this one.
No deal. Sorry, yeah, we'll put the draw up again for not in draw bracket order, but at least you can. I haven't seen a draw bracket order picture, have you?
Not as a picture, no. I've just got it on the website.
Okay, we can put the first round. So this is the order of play for the first rounds.
Darts Rankings has it, of course.
Do you want to share a screen to put it up or not? Because you're better than I am.
I don't have a screen because I am not at home.
Of course he's not at home. There's no prime bottles in the background.
Ooh, prime boy.
Sounds like a bit of a boy, that did, mate.
It's on Wiki.
Of course. Who gets through that?
Yeah, I'm struggling with one sections.
Yes.
Section 2 is where I'm really struggling.
Oh. Not great, is it?
Section 2?
No, 2's easy. Section 3.
You ain't on for Dave, she's done as well, have you?
No.
Right.
I'm in, I think.
So, who comes through section 1?
Section 1 was my easiest one. Derwin Price.
Gob?
Hang on. I've done it again. Bunting makes another semi-final.
I'm going Derwin Price. Section 2.
Rob Cross.
Boise.
Darryl Durney.
Josh Rock.
Forgot about him. Thanks for coming on the show, mate.
Section 3. Gary.
I've stupidly done the same.
I've done Luke Humphries, but more on the base of that.
Section is so poor.
The bottom section of that means he then gets to Derry or Wade at the quarterfinals.
Where it's a little bit longer.
And I'm now at the stance of Luke Humphries. He's that good. Dead him early or you don't dead him at all.
Yeah.
And I don't see anyone who gets him from that bottom section. So I've done Humphries.
And section 4.
I think he's playing too well and he's in a nice part of the draw. You've both tipped him to leave first round, but I've got him go into the semi-finals, Damon Hatter.
I didn't say lose first round. He's the biggest name. He's the biggest name. He's the most informed player with the toughest draw right now. Doesn't mean he's losing first game.
How well he's playing, for me, that's the section you probably want to be in. Because you look at the other names, they're not in the form. And the most informed player in that section is Damon. I was going to say Jose just to wind Phill up, but no, Damon.
I'm going for a rogue pick that he's in no kind of form whatsoever.
Don't do it.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
The same player I've been picked.
Christoph Verteiste?
No.
The rock star.
Oh, no, I went for the other one.
I've gone Cullen.
I've gone Michael Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're both wrong.
For absolutely no reason other than he's got to find form at some point, and that bottom section is lovely until they meet each other.
Yeah. Murph is watching along at home as well. Good to have you on board. Murph's gone Price, Chisnell, Anderson, Ryan, Joyce.
Joyce is just sticking out a little bit there. If Cullen gets caught cold.
If Cullen can get over hurdle 1, it'll be all right. It's just getting over that hurdle 1's the issue.
Yeah.
But I think he beats Jamie Hughes. That's why I've gone for him to.
Yeah, look. Just fancy Michael Smith to turn up and do something. Just to remind everybody he is still world number 1 and world champion before Ali Pali.
So, from your selections, chat room as well, who beats who in the final of the 2023 Kazoo Players Championship finals?
Christ.
Can someone beat Humphries? Yes, Derwin Price can. And will. Why are you smiling, Philip?
What do you think? He's got a certain Scotsman winning the title.
Gary Anderson beats Gerwin Price in the final.
Rob Cross beats Gary in the final. Final day is about stamina and getting your practice right. And if not, I hope your B game lasts a bit longer than the other.
Yeah, hope someone's had more practice than you. Yeah. So that's what we think is going to happen. There was another qualifier over the weekend. Thibaut Tricol, the first Frenchman to play at Alexandra Palace. Now, this was good and bad all at the same time. Great for him, great for French darts, but the negative is last year's runner-up and number 11 seed will not be going to Lakeside.
Yes. Look, I addressed this earlier. I said it with Matt as well yesterday. The risk of potentially losing a player like Thibaut to the tournament is, whilst upsetting or annoying, it's less damaging than them having waited until this moment to do the draw. They had to get the draw done. They had to get tickets on sale. They had to let players know when they're playing. They had to let fans know when they can go and watch players, especially with a tournament that is going to rely so heavily on friends and family to buy tickets to go and watch people. It just is at the moment. It doesn't have a massive, wider fan base. It's going to be a large part word of mouth or get your friends in to support and create an atmosphere for you. We all know that Reece Colley is going to take an absolute coach load down of him, right? That's not possible until he knows when he's playing. The potential chance of losing one, maybe two players in the draw is not worth holding it back as long as that to commercially damage a tournament that just has to happen to get your organisation up and running again. Because if they had held it until these two draws are done, and then neither of them were won by a player that has already qualified for their tournament, they've double lost out. It's just the lesser evil of every opportunity that was available to them. The only other thing they potentially could have done is turn around and say, once you are confirmed in this draw, you are not allowed to go and play in any other qualifier. You cannot actively go and seek a way into the other World Championship, knowing that rule exists. But I'm not sure what they'd have then been able to do if a player had gone against that.
I get that argument, and I am with you. The only massive negative, and it does have an effect on the tournament, is the fact that you directly replace a seed. Now, I would have preferred them to say, look, this is the draw. However, if a seed pulls out, the seeds below move up one.
What happens if you lose your number one? Literally everybody moves, and with that, your entire draw changes. It's too much.
The issue is that I don't like is the way they've done it. And look, I get it's the only way to do it, but John Scott replacing Thibaut Tricol as the number 11 seed is a gimme almost.
It's an opportunity. You can say it's a gimme all you want. The fact that a player who hadn't qualified by 10 places is now a seed is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. But he now has an opportunity. He also has a risk to that because if he doesn't win that game, he gets no ranking points.
He won't beat Gates. But
if the Gates had turned up for game 1 and 2 today, plays first round at Lakeside, he's got a chance. If the Gates had turned up game 3 and 4 after 111, different matter.
I just don't like that aspect. And I understand the situation of they had to do the draw. And I'm not saying there is an easy scenario to this, but I don't like the way that is done.
I think I'm with Dob. I think it had to be done that way. I don't think moving your seeds up. If you're going to move your seeds up, why bother doing the draw?
Yeah, it's just too much moving.
Because you mentioned Reese as an example there. A total load of people have brought the Saturday afternoon tickets. If he moves up, if he moves places, or something changes with someone who was a seed, that then he's then playing Monday night. It's not fair then on the custom, but equally the WDF have got to sell tickets.
It is. I just think that the draw and the seeding should be more relevant to form of the players and how they've got there.
Potentially, but where it's been over such a long time anyway, I'm not sure it's as accurate as it could be or whatever else. Like, there's also an argument when you start moving other players around, they get handed what they see as a worse draw for somebody withdrawing. Like, they know who they're playing. They've been practicing and preparing for that. If I'm, for instance, playing Shawnee Mack, the minute that draw's done, I'm scouting for practice partners that play at the same pace as Sean. Because I know that's going to be the biggest battle I face in that match. If you then suddenly get that change to play Wesley Placia or Chris Landman, you've wasted 3 weeks of practice because somebody else has pulled out. No. Once that's set in stone for the other players, it has to stay. It's not ideal. It's not perfect. But actually, the revenue to the tournament through ticket sales is far more important than Thibaut Tricot and John Scott's presence.
I don't like it. For that reason, and I appreciate that it's not great either way, but I just think it doesn't represent.
I just don't think there's any other opportunity. There's no other way of doing it.
I don't think there's another solution for it with the tournament being where it is.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is potentially is a week from Lakeside starting, there could be another replacement coming in.
Yeah, but again, that's the risk they take. Is one player in that field, isn't it? And arguably, the next replacement on the list, if he can get a visa and stuff in time, is possibly commercially a bigger draw than 95% of the field anyway.
I haven't seen his
necessarily from the hockey.
Paul Lim.
Commercially viable, but gets battered.
Potentially. But Paul Lim back at Lakeside is a fucking huge story. And I know for one, I'm selling this shit out of it.
I hope Paul Lim does get in.
At this point, it probably suits everybody. Białecki gets to go and play in the PDC, where he was a World Youth semi-finalist this year and is looking for a tour card and earns guaranteed a lot more money as a first round. And Paul Lim gets to play at Lakeside again, which is a massive story for them.
And punters are also happy.
Win-win. Let it happen. In fact, that's it. We have decided. Sebastian Białecki will win the West Europe PDC qualifier.
Do you think Stockmarsh and... Well, it would be Stockmarsh would be happy with that? I think he would.
Scott Marsh would much rather play Paul Lim than Sebastian Białecki.
Exactly.
100%.
Win-win all around. Paul, get on the phone.
He'll be praying Białecki comes through that Eastern European qualifier. But it'll be interesting to see. But last year's runner-up will not be in the tournament. That's that one. Have we missed any other announcements, Boise? And we know you love an announcement.
I feel like we have. It's been too long. No, I'm going to say no and then be corrected shortly.
Also, remember the live lounge live Monday, the 11th of December. By the look of it, we've got a decent little crowd coming. or ready?
Yes.
How many days away is it, Dom?
Yeah,
More than you fucking tweeted, you killer.
your maths was horrific.
I don't have that excited. I thought it was 2 weeks away. I'm not going to lie.
21.
Yeah. For those that are asking, we spoke about this at the start. Yes, there was a DRA announcement, but the same as with McKinstry and Wessel Nyman, at the moment it's an allegation, so we're not going to make any comment on it until anything happens. At the moment, it's an allegation. They've been suspended. We will discuss at a later date if they are found guilty and banned or found innocent and allowed to play.
It's not the fact it's an allegation; it's an ongoing investigation.
That's what I mean, yeah. But it's an allegation of suspicious betting patterns. So they have an upcoming hearing at some point. So we won't make any comment until after it's been dealt with.
Graham, to answer your question, the Live Lounge Live will be recorded. It will be the same as a normal setup, apart from we will be together in the same room with a few friends.
And some beers.
And talking nonsense. We have some special guests as well. So make sure you get yourself along. It is on our Facebook page, all the details. So head over there. I'm actually looking forward to it now.
Yes.
Are we testing equipment tomorrow as well, Gob?
Yes, the camera's in the corner.
Cool.
Which means I have to drive. Yes, save me the walk.
Lazy.
Lazy.
You can pick me up. Leave my car out front because I got a nice little parking spot, to be fair. It doesn't happen very often.
Is Ward coming? We've invited him, Big Johnny. Make sure he gets that. I knew we'd missed something. The ADC Women's Tour Championship concluded at the weekend. Dieter Hedman picking up the title. I'm not going to lie.
What a semi-final comeback.
I was watching it on and off, obviously, because I was at Wolverhampton, but super stuff for Dieter winning that.
Did not see that coming at all.
No, I agree.
Not from being 3-0 down in the semi, then to Lisa as well.
No. I guess that shows a couple of things. One, Dieter's still got that drive and that level when she needs it. Two, are we concerned about Lisa heading into Lakeside, that elbow might not hold up just yet? Not picked up a dart in 7 weeks before this. Incredibly brave just to go up and play, by the way, in the first event. To get over the line in the quarterfinal and then be 3-0 up in the semi-final, but not played in 7 weeks before this. Lakeside is a fortnight away.
When I saw the draw, I thought that the only two that could potentially stop Bo was Lisa and Rianne on current form. I now think that Rianne is potentially the only one that can stop Bo, and that's nothing against Lisa. I just don't think there's enough time between Operation and Lakeside for her to operate at her best. I think it's come along a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, look, if I'm being honest, I think Bo canters to the Lakeside title.
Especially after last week.
Yeah.
If she matches that was very much Bo at Dane for a lot of that. The story was ridiculous. A B, Dane would win the title as well, and a C possibly would, to Zuri's levels above.
So, yeah. Also, this coming Monday, we say goodbye to the Barnsley Metrodome. It is the World Qualifier on Monday. 4 places are up for grabs ahead of the draw.
I guess there is one thing to clarify. I'm not even sure if we're allowed to talk about it, but given that one of the 3 players that has been suspended is in that draw, what is happening?
No idea.
Because that decision needs to be made pretty quickly?
Genuinely, no idea. Yeah, we'll see. But if you're picking a couple to come through that qualifier, who are you picking?
Of course, he was missing out first.
No, he can't play.
I'd take a crack at Luke Woodhouse if he. Oh no, he's in the other.
He's there already, isn't he?
He's there already, yeah.
On the other colour. Stupid ranking list.
Shawnee Mack, I agree with you. Suits.
He's so close. It'd be a disappointment if he's not there.
It would be a crime if he's not there. I fancy a crack on Merv, you know. He just started showing form in the last couple of Pro Tours. The last couple of Pro Tours, there just seemed to be that extra step up. Don't get me wrong, he's been dreadful for 85% of this season. But you don't have to be good for 85% of the season. You have to be good for the 10% where the TV money's on the line.
How are we doing, Weekly Darts Cast? Hope you are good. I'm going Suits, John O'Shea, Ryan Meikle, and Pascal Riprek.
The other problem is I'm looking down this list and half the players are going, yeah, they've had a great year. Yeah, they've had a great year. They've not even got fucking tour cards.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because you look at, I bet you looked at Cam Crabtree, didn't you?
Andy Bolton, Cam Crabtree, Placia, Pilgrim. Oh yeah, they've all had great seasons. None of them can play. Rob Grundy.
Obviously, for obvious reasons, I'd love Aaron Monk to get there. I think the world needs the Monk.
I'll back Adam Warner for the same reason. What story?
Yeah.
The world needs less Monk. Monk needs less Monk.
Well, what happened? Aaron Monk happened. That's still my favourite tweet of the year.
It's the best line ever.
Yeah.
Raf's a good shout, to be fair. I thought he played okay at the Slam.
Yeah.
Held his own.
Adam Dorlas.
Oh, what pace.
Florian Hempel's not a bad shout either. He's picked up the last couple of months.
Creeping in at the right time.
Imagine if Corey Cadbury rocked up.
Please.
I'm not quite sure he can play from where he is.
Oh dear, Philip.
Well, you've only got to look at his lack of social media activity to work it out. But he's not been active for months.
He's got no internet provider, that's all we'll say, and we'll move on.
Smuggling a SIM card.
Not got a burner phone.
Jad, you just told him to behave and then you've just done with that line.
Well, you carried it on, you knobhead.
I haven't.
If you're going to set me up for a line like that, I'm not going to turn it down.
As well, congratulations to Duzza, who smashed it at the Slam on comms. He won't be listening, he'll be at the quiz, but
he is at the quiz where everyone else is. The last time I was here, me and Henry went to the quiz alone. Tonight, there's 7 of the fuckers.
That's unfortunate.
But Matt Edgar is next door watching Coronation Street.
Fairs. So that's the world qualifier. Get your questions in then. We'll do 10 minutes or 9 minutes of question time as well.
Oh, very precise again, Philip.
Yeah, just what's his release? Genuinely, I've not got any inside info. I just look at when he posts on social that he's always active, like always, and now he's not.
Is inside info a pun?
I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4, but I may be way off.
Can you two behave yourself, please?
Always.
Yeah, Andrew, we spoke about this earlier. For us, top 7 done, 1 place up for grabs. What do you reckon? If Damon Heta got in, what would he walk out to in Ireland?
Zombie.
No, you can look, even if he was allowed to, you can't. That's Willie's. You can't nick it.
Sinead O'Connor.
Nothing compares to you.
That's big, right, yeah.
Or Sailor V, Bewitched.
Oh, I'm all over the Sailor V.
You know who'd do it as well?
Well, the thing is, like, all of his walk-ons have had some sort of relevance to the local area. That's what he's stuck with on the Euro Tour, that the people that are there will know. I'm not sure there's many in Wolverhampton that understood the Wolverhampton reference over the weekend, but that has always been his theme. Unless he does fucking Michael Flatley.
To be fair, though, if he does Bewitched, is he going to walk on in double denim?
Please.
Yeah. Right. So get your questions in then, folks. I know Shawnee Mack was in the chat room earlier. Good to have you in as always, mate. Joel, the answer is I don't know. Why? There's some weird rules and.
Is that not the new, depending on your ranking, double chance?
It's along those lines. It's just
for year 1 allowed to play or whatever. Or is that different?
It's just overcomplicated, isn't it?
Yeah. All we know is if Jeff Smith misses out on the World, it is criminal. The man has fallen foul of bad luck more often than the rest of the tour put together.
Part of me would love him to come through that qualifier because it's the right thing.
Yeah. And when he does, call out everybody that made that decision.
Petition for Secret Santa at the live show.
What the fuck do we buy Dan? The man's loaded.
Yeah.
Sunderland top.
How much damage can Luke Littler do at Ali Pally? A lot.
Yeah, agree.
Barry, probably not, because I'm in London for the media day and we're going to do something with a draw, so we probably can't do the draw and the qualifier.
What date's that?
Monday.
All on Monday next week.
27th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Philip, there is no live lounge next Monday.
No. We will be doing the live lounge on Tuesday, everyone, because of the World Championship draw. Obviously, I'm at the media day, and then getting back from London and everything is impossible. So we will live lounge on Tuesday next week, where we will dissect the draw. Are the refs confirmed? I would imagine if they're all available, it will be the normal 4.
Think so.
Yeah.
It's normal 4 for the next 2 blocks, isn't it? You might get an Owen or a Charlie performance this weekend, maybe?
Charlie's at Minehead.
On stage 2?
But Charlie's at Minehead as one of the main ones. Do you think the PDC will be gutted Humphries wasn't in the Premier League this year?
No.
No. Should he have been? Yes. But
Does it absolutely justify their logic that he's gone away and won 2 majors in a year where they said he wasn't ready, and now he comes back an even more mature person? Yes.
Yeah. Ryan, I have seen some of the plans for the fan village. It is going to be epic. I'm going to say it now. It will be the best fans village the World Championship has had.
I'm looking forward to all the promo for it that they'll obviously cover off on.
One of the things they have in there is incredible. Actually, no, I was told I can say it. So, one of the things, yeah, I got told I could drop it in. One of the things they're going to have in the fans village is they're going to have a commentary booth where you and your mate can reproduce the commentary.
I can't speak
from that leg, and they'll record it and send it to you as like a digital download or whatever. So over Instagram and TikTok, be prepared to see a lot of them. But that's genius.
Yeah, the greatest leg of all time. Come and have a crack at it. Brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen some of the plans. It's going to be epic.
Do you know what my favourite part about the fans village is? Whenever they go live with On the Wire and then somebody swears and Dan Dawson just looks like a disappointed father.
But also what I like as well, they're moving. So you've been to Ali Pali. You know where you come through the main doors and it's all right in front of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're moving it to almost the middle of the room.
Yeah.
So it's not congested by the doors, which I like.
Yes.
Isn't that where the food stalls were in the smack band in the middle?
So they're moving it
sort of to the left.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because normally you walk in, there's just the rows and rows of the card booths, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah. Straight in front of you.
Yeah. I walked in last year. Obviously, Richardson's DJing. Hello, mate. I'll get some 5 on for you.
So basically, you can go to a box and shout they're both on 9s. Yeah, but I'm all for it. Aside from the obvious, who else was covering the world? Emma can't do every session, obviously presents. No comment.
That means you already know.
Yeah.
However, I still would, and I say this every year, phone up David Croft and give the man what he wants.
I can tell you it's not him.
I know, because he's too big time on the F1, but phone up David Croft and give him whatever he wants.
Yeah. But no, I'm buzzing for the Worlds now. It's that close.
No, not yet. Players has to happen.
As you can see, my Christmas decks are up.
Your Christmas decorations go up in August, mate. You're a fucking nonce.
I didn't quite go that early.
I presume the Snapchat you sent me this morning was of a Christmas song.
Yeah. On the
I
radio.
skipped through it on silent because I knew exactly what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Nope. It is 7:20 in the morning. I do not need to see that shit.
I don't even download any picture he puts in our online darts chat anymore because I know it's going to be his radio or a Christmas song or a screenshot of Spotify.
Yeah.
Just don't download them. I just put the sick emoji and move on to the rest of my day.
Yes, Shawnee. Max approves of the Christmas decorations. I'm all for it. Have you got yours up, Shawnee?
Oh, Sean, I did have a high opinion of you. That's dropped.
Every major city has their Christmas lights on, so what's the issue?
You've fallen for it, Phil. You've fallen for the trap. No. Every major city has their Christmas lights on so they can commercialise the shit out of it.
I've got a queue outside my front room to come and see mine. Charge them.
Want to be very careful how you're wording that.
Hello, Hampshire Police. Yeah, it's this one.
This Saturday. See, Shawnee's are going up.
The Saturday's okay. That's the weekend before December. I'll allow it.
No, it's not.
I'll allow it. That's the absolute earliest, though.
1st of December.
I've not even got any.
Have you not?
Well, no, because I've lived with my brother for the last couple of years, so we've just not bothered, have we?
Yeah.
My friend from L'Oreal sent us a Christmas tree in the post once. It was this little one that comes in like... Do you remember the old contact lens boxes that Specsavers used to send out?
Yeah.
And it literally came in 2 parts, flattened, that you took out, merged together. It built like a little base. It had a little pot that it sat in with a string of LED lights and some little paper things that hang on it. It was only about that big.
Surely,
But
Matt.
to then grow it outside and put it back in again.
Kids are 8 and 5. Come on. Well, it's 8 and 5. Hopefully, they will realise that Christmas is in December. So, still no.
Festive season, Boise. Season.
Yeah, is in December. What people have to remember is I hear Phill Bars telling me how excited he's about Christmas while I'm in Blackpool in July.
Blackpool in July, London in December.
Also, doesn't Christmas normally symbolise the capitulation of Tottenham's season? So no wonder he gets the Christmas decorations up in October.
Everyone, thank you very much for your support as always. Remember, running you through stuff, bringing you everything from Minehead. Then we will be at the media day on Monday. We will have some sort of stream to work on the final details for the World Championship draw. Live Lounge will be next Tuesday, so we can then dissect the draw and everything there. And Monday, the 11th of December, the Live Lounge live from the Prince of Wales in Ilkeston. Head over to our Facebook page. The event is there. Already got a nice little guest list coming along nicely. I think we're up to about 25, 26 plus special guests. So buzzing for that. Other than that, boys, it's been emotional.
It's been all right.
It's been all right.
We ended on talk about Christmas, so put me on a downer in November.
Yes. On good news, England drew with Macedonia in the football tonight.
Safe date in. I best get that picture ready. Safe date then to send around.
Get the waistcoat out. Get the waistcoat out.
As I've got Christmas pictures saved, Boise's got the Southgate waistcoat picture saved. But everyone, we have been Online Darts. I'm at Phill Bars, Jack Garwood, Lee Boyce. We are signing out. Remember, the Phil Taylor interview is on full over on our channel. Now we've finished, go and have a butcher's. But we will see you all very, very soon. He hasn't done it.
Bye.